Despite the fact that things have changed a bit since 1991, Russia and the United States have still been among the world's superpowers. Throughout history, these two nations have controlled the world with their strong economies and resources. Taking all of this into account, how would the world look if we could connect them together through a superhighway? In today's video, we're going to talk about Russia's superhighway to America. Before moving forward to discuss, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos we upload. You might think this is unbelievable, but it really is true. If you're curious, make sure to stay tuned until the end of this video. We are going to talk about Russia's insane megaproject for connecting the two continents with a superhighway to America. We are looking forward to this video. Let's get right to it without wasting any more time. At a conference of the Russian Academy of Science, Russian Railways Chairman Vladimir Yakunin presented a comprehensive proposal for what may appear to be an incredibly challenging infrastructure megaproject. According to Yakunin, engineers may construct the Trans-Eurasian Belt Development (TPR), which would connect Siberia with an underwater tunnel that would bridge the Bering Strait at the end of its length. A superhighway could also be built along the lines, enabling ground transport between Anchorage, Alaska, and Moscow. It goes without saying that to accomplish this megaproject, 12,500 miles of roads and railways must be constructed, beginning at the eastern border of Russia. All of this is not going to happen overnight. In addition, it would be 520 miles between Nome, Alaska's icy shores, and Fairbanks, an area to the northernmost end of the Alaskan Highway. Lastly, there's this massive 55-mile Bering Strait tunnel, which is estimated to cost $50 billion in total. That's a lot of money, isn't it? Aspirations have been held for a bridge across the Bering Strait since the 19th century to connect east and west ever since. It was as early as 1846 that William Gilpin, the governor of the Colorado Territory at the time, funded research to build a railroad up toward the northern Alaskan coast. Years after being forced out of office, Gilpin continued to release ideas for the Cosmopolitan Railway, which would connect all continents primarily across the Bering Strait. In the 1860s, a Russian-American firm envisioned a transcontinental communication line, but the Atlantic cables put an end to it. A railroad bridge between Alaska and Siberia was the subject of the college thesis of the architect of the Golden Gate Bridge after 30 years. A proposal to build a bridge over the Bering Strait was approved by Tsar Nicholas II in 1906, but was ultimately scrapped when World War I broke out. It's interesting to notice what's going on here. A few people, especially journalist and historian William Engdahl, believed that British economic interests caused World War I because they were concerned about losing control of the marine economy if a tunnel under the Bering Strait was built. If it is true, it is quite unbelievable, even if it is regarded as a conspiracy theory. The story did not end there, however. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was tasked with completing a study of a rail line that would connect the lower 48 states, Canada, and Alaska during World War II. However, the more pressing need to build the Alaskan Highway eventually overshadowed this undertaking. The Sarah Palin government conducted certain viability and economic studies during the period of 2009. This was ideally for energy and fresh water to drought-stricken areas as well as rail transit to a Bering Strait tunnel. However, when the projected cost reached $3 billion, all the proposed plans were slashed. There have been very few megaprojects that have really been completed due to the enormous costs and unpredictability of such initiatives, along with political impediments. In addition, TPR may have difficulty delivering ground transportation as a viable alternative to flying today. These sorts of megaprojects are proposed, discussed, and then efforts are made to complete them in spite of all of these issues and concerning circumstances. The reason for this is that such megaprojects provide a lot of economic benefits and returns to the various countries involved in them. A number of phenomenal returns can be expected from this massive superhighway connecting Russia and America. Along with Arctic gas and oil production, the major benefit will be new and better energy resource delivery lines. According to Yakunin, the Russian Railways chief, The TPR will contain pipelines for oil and gas to help boost the country's energy revenues. Furthermore, hundreds of thousands of new jobs will be created as a result of it, as well as the development of new sectors. Regardless of whether the Bering Strait Tunnel is built or not, Russia has begun developing and constructing a railway in its Far East to expand its energy industry in its remote areas. In order to connect the two major cities of both countries via Siberia, China Railway High Speed is constructing a high-speed railway, which is primarily funded by the country's state-owned company. The direct connection between Beijing and Moscow will cover approximately 7,000 kilometers, 4,340 miles, which is roughly 3 times as long as the Beijing-Guangzhou high-speed train. Several billions, if not trillions, of dollars are expected to be spent on this megaproject. Yakunin, however, says the enormous economic rewards may more than offset the significant cash costs, which were not covered in the paper specifically. Only time will tell if that actually happens. The famous Russian President Vladimir Putin and Yakunin are close friends. For those of you who may not know this, they have been in touch and have a lot to discuss with each other, particularly with regard to strategic projects. Superhighway megaprojects are no exception. It is interesting to note that Yakunin may be Putin's likely successor if we consider some of the top sources. Consequently, it would not be incorrect to say that Yakunin has the right amount of information at his disposal to manage the costs of a megaproject like the superhighway. It appears almost miraculous how large the construction is. If it succeeds, it will be one of the world's greatest infrastructure projects. However, at the moment, the Bering Strait Tunnel is a fantasy proposal comparable to a space elevator that we will discuss a different time. It is almost certain that this megaproject will never be a favorable use of American resources. Aside from the hype, the real thrust of the project is largely, if not entirely, fueled by private investments in gas and oil. As opposed to being a global railway uniting people from different parts of the world, it is a private network connecting vested interests of a select few powerful people and figures. What are your thoughts on this? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. That was all for today's video. You can share with us your views in the comments section. And if you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos we upload. Thank you for watching the video. Best of luck and goodbye.